Well, breaking fuck the news. Trump abruptly pulls plan to announce Obamacare extension after significant congressional backlash. Just minutes before President Donald Trump was set to unveil a plan to avert a massive hike for Obamacare health plans on Monday afternoon, the event was suddenly pulled.
Hi guys, my name is Esther Daniel and you're welcome back to the channel. So basically, Trump's team was planning to announce an extension for Obamacare. That means they have wanted to help keep health insurance cheaper for people who can't afford expensive plans, right? But once Republican lawmakers heard about it, they were like, hold on, we don't support this. Backlash started, people got mad, and boom, Trump pulled the announcement just like that. No speech, no plan, no solution, only silence. Anyway, guys, let's get into it. Drop your thoughts in the comments and don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like and share the video to help the channel out.
Well, breaking fuck the news. Trump abruptly pulls plan to announce Obamacare extension after significant congressional backlash. Just minutes before President Donald Trump was set to unveil a plan to avert a massive hike for Obamacare health plans on Monday afternoon, the event was suddenly pulled, reportedly because of a widespread Republican unease on the Hill. On CNN, anchor Jessica Dean was forced to interrupt herself while interviewing a health expert to announce some breaking news as it came into her ear, that the event had been abruptly postponed. Federal subsidies passed under the Biden-era Inflation Reduction Act are set to expire at the end of the calendar year, and many Americans are already receiving notice that their monthly costs of their healthcare plans could jump by the hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Democrats initially tried to avert those premium hikes by tying their extensions to the party's support for continuing resolution to avert, and later end a government shutdown. But despite the shutdown dragging out into the longest in U.S. history, Republicans refused to negotiate until the government reopened. Democrats eventually voted to reopen the government without the extension. Early in November, the Senate voted down a bill sponsored by Democrats to extend the subsidies by 1 year. The American government does not give a fuck about your health care. Most other countries have free health care, universal free health care. Most countries, health is a human right. If you go to the ER right now, they aren't going to not help you because you don't have health insurance. You're just going to get a bill. The government does not give a fuck about you, your family's health, your grandmammies, your aunt, your uncles. This shit's a fucking joke, and you're not mad enough. I'll keep you updated with
to me how Trump is extending Obamacare, and both parties are still pissed. The White House is getting ready to keep ACA subsidies going so premiums don't blow up next year. And somehow, everybody found a way to hate it. Republicans, they don't like that it touches Obamacare. Democrats, they don't like the income caps and the personal responsibility angle. So instead of asking if it actually helps families, everybody just snapped back to their old talking points like it's 2012 again. Look, real people aren't fighting over labels, they're fighting over their premium. Working men don't care what you call the program. They care about whether that bill stops hitting them in the mouth every month. Think about the gap here. Politicians hear healthcare announcement and they start gaming out of the headlines. Families hear it and think rent, groceries, lights on. If this move actually keeps premiums from exploding, hey, that's a win. But if it's just another political stunt to rile up the other team, man, it's worthless. Here's my line in the sand. Help working families or get the fuck out of the way. I'm not loyal to a label. I'm loyal to the people trying to keep their homes running. So what is this? A real fix or more political theater?
Holy cow, folks, the Trump administration is postponing its plan to unveil a new healthcare plan today. I'm not exactly sure why that's the case, but according to Axios, this plan was going to extend the Affordable Care Act subsidies by 2 years, but have certain income restrictions, as well as eliminate $0 premium plans, which are meant to help the people who are most vulnerable to not having health insurance, those with lower income but couldn't qualify for Medicaid. They were also going to expand health savings accounts, and there would have been potentially some restrictions on access to abortions. Now, there is a significant problem because the enhanced premiums that were enacted during the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic are going to expire, which is going to cause many people's health insurance to double or triple in terms of their premiums by next year and make millions of Americans at risk of losing their health insurance. Something has to get fixed, and the simple temporary fix would be to just extend those subsidies, but instead the Republicans have been talking about giving money directly to people to try to then go out and buy their own insurance, which makes absolutely no sense. I personally don't see how the Republicans have any other viable option other than extending the subsidies or trying to go for some type of universal coverage, because the talking points that they have right now are definitely worse than what we have currently.
So the White House just postponed Trump's big healthcare announcement that was supposed to roll out today. This was the proposal meant to address the spike in premiums coming in 2026 because the enhanced ACA subsidies are expiring. Why should patients care? Because those subsidies are literally what made insurance even remotely affordable for almost 22 million people. And with open enrollment already happening, folks need answers. People have until December 15th if they want coverage starting January 1st, and open enrollment ends January 15th. That's it. No extensions, no magic wand. So from a nursing perspective, I'm looking at the same thing that all patients should be looking at. If people can't afford insurance, they will delay their care. They skip appointments, they ration medication, they wait until health issues explode into emergencies. Then the hospitals get flooded, the bills are higher, outcomes are worse, and the same politicians who drag their feet pretend to be shocked. So he promised a better alternative to the ACA subsidies. And now, with 20 days left before the deadline, that announcement has been pushed back with no explanation. People are already terrified of 2026 premiums. And instead of clarity, families are getting political suspense they did not ask for. This isn't a policy debate. It's about whether millions of people will be able to afford insulin, cancer follow-ups, postpartum care, asthma management, dialysis, mental health visits, and the basic right to not bankrupt themselves to stay alive. Patients deserve answers before the deadline, not after the fallout. So as a reminder, please enroll by December 15th if you need January 1st coverage, and to check your plans now before the panic sets in.
Welcome to Politics R Us. An article by The Independent expressed that just minutes before Donald Trump was set to unveil a plan to avert a massive hike for Obamacare health plans on Monday afternoon, the event was suddenly pulled, reportedly because of widespread Republican unease on Capitol Hill. Federal subsidies passed under the Biden-era Inflation Reduction Act are set to expire at the end of the calendar year, and many Americans are already receiving notice that the monthly cost of their health care plans could jump by hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Democrats initially tried to avert those premium hikes by tying their extension to the party's support for a continuing resolution to avert and later end a government shutdown. But despite that shutdown dragging out into the longest in U.S. history, Republicans still refused to negotiate until the government reopened. Democrats eventually voted to reopen the government without the extension. Earlier in November, the Senate voted down a bill sponsored by Democrats to extend the subsidies by 1 year.
We've all learned that when something bad happens, look in the background to see what is going on, because it's always to cover for something else. Well, they're going to let the ACA subsidies expire. There's no new health plan coming out, and millions of people are probably going to lose their coverage because they will not be able to afford their premiums anymore as they skyrocket for next year. They're going to let the ACA subsidies expire. And when they do, there's going to be a huge uproar, where the uproar should be now. So there's always something in the background going on. We already know about the e-files. Don't even, we're never going to see the light of day of the truth of that ever. Not while the Republicans in office. But it's always what's in the background. And they're pretty much just going to let people die without their health care coverage. Take care.
After more than 8 years, Donald Trump's finally going to change the Affordable Care Act. Well, he has a framework for a plan that might happen, and he stole it from Senate Republicans. He's going to extend the Affordable Care Act subsidies for 2 years. But he's going to limit those eligible to receive those subsidies to those that make 700% of the poverty line or less. So the maximum is around $110,000 a year. He's also going to encourage individuals to enroll in lower tier premium plans that will cost them less per month and take less of the federal subsidies. And in exchange for that, they will push portions of your subsidies into a flexible spending account or a health savings account. They haven't been clear on that yet for you to pay the deductible. The problem is those subsidies don't even come close to the deductibles on those plans, which means this plan, these changes are only going to benefit the health insurance companies that offer significantly less coverage in these lower tiered plans. And on top of that, this is going to harm those Americans that are some of the poorest among us. If they decide to save a little extra a month by enrolling in a lower tiered plan to take a portion of their subsidies to pay for a deductible that just went from $1,000 or $2,000 to $10,000. So no, Donald Trump's plan doesn't help anybody once again, other than the insurance companies. If you get rid of the health savings account and pushing people to higher deductible plans, it might have some teeth. But as it sits right now, once again, it harms the poorest among us and only benefits the corporate.
This is what I don't like about politics. They don't care about the people. They care about looking good. Because how do you play with people's health like this? There are people in America who depend on this health insurance just to survive. People with kids, people with ironic illness, people that can't afford private insurance. And you are playing politics with their lives. It's crazy. One day you are like, I'm helping Americans. Next day you are like, never mind, my friends are mad. What kind of leadership is that? And what is funny is the same people shouting America first are the same ones blocking things that actually help Americans. But anyways, this shows you everything you need to know because strong leaders don't run when things get hard. They stand on what they believe in. But some people, they only stand when it's convenient. And the moment the room gets hot, they exist quietly, just like this Obamacare situation. Anyway, guys, what do you think about this situation? Drop your thoughts in the comments and don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like and share the video to help the channel out. See you in the next one. Bye.